In this video, we are going to see the evolution of Indian capital market. So to remind you what is a capital market is a place where buyers and sellers meet to buy or sell long-term securities. So here basically the seller will be either the government body or the corporates. Now let's see how the Indian capital market has evolved over the period. So this is the history behind the Indian capital market. In 18th century, East India Company, that was basically a company from Britain or Britishers company. At that time the Britishers were ruling India, but it was again one of the strongest companies in the world during that duration. So two trading establishments were made into two different cities. One was in Bombay, another was in Kolkata, and that happened in 19th century. Now similar to your New York Stock Exchange, the Bombay Stock Exchange, which is the oldest stock exchange of India, right? So the way the New York Stock Exchange, as we saw in the previous video, or as we discovered in the previous video, that it was the entire thing started under a bottled tree. Similarly, here in Bombay, the thing started under a banyan tree where a group of brokers and investors met to buy and sell the different securities or different stocks among each other. That was just opposite to the town hall in Bombay, and that's how the Bombay Stock Exchange started. Then the Bombay Stock Exchange was recognized in the year 1927, May month of 1927, under the Bombay Securities Control Act 1925. The growth of capital market has basically happened only after India has received its independence in the year 1947. But after the independence also, the mixed economy part was popularized later, but initially we were more inclined towards the socialist economy. Hence the public sectors were funded by the government, and there was the major growth. It was slowly and steadily that the private sectors also started booming in India, and to fund the private sectors they need money from the household, and that's when the Bombay Stock Exchange became a little bit popular. So in 1950, some of the popular companies whose securities were famously traded on Bombay Stock Exchange were Century Textiles, Tata Steel, Bombay Dyeing, National Rail, and Kohinoor Mills. Now we need to understand that since it was very much new for the country like India to understand how the capital market should behave, so there were a lot of speculations initially which started happening in Bombay Stock Exchange. Hence Bombay Stock Exchange till today, or capital market in India till today, is famously known as Satta Bazaar, where Satta means gambling. Then there was a development which was made by the government of India to put a hold on this kind of Satta or gambling or speculations. So in the year 1956, government introduced something called Securities Contract Regulations Act. So coincidentally, it happens to be the same year 1956 where India got its Companies Act. That's Companies Act 1956, which was later on amended, that is very recently, that is year 2013. So Indian capital market has seen many ups and downs. We have survived the depression of 1991. We have survived the after effect of subprime crisis, that was the fire that came from the Western or America, and in the year 2007 2008, and still we survived both the downfall in the capital market, and currently Indian capital market is one of the best choices for the investors around the globe, be it your foreign direct investments or foreign institutional investors. So the strong foundation of Indian economy and the regulatory body SEBI, which was formed in the year 1988, and which became an autonomous body in the year 1992. So both the strong foundation of Indian economy and the way SEBI has regulated Indian capital market puts a very popular investment destination for the investors from the globe. So there has been a major investment from FDIs and FIIs in India, and there has been also the growth of investment domestically. This altogether has kept on moving the Indian capital market, and we are at par with any other capital market around the globe.